Autobots, roll out your knowledge banks.
Weapons down.
And we'll let you escape with your dignity.
As audiences are busy bracing themselves for the upcoming release of the newest entry in this classic, high-octane robotic franchise, we figured it's worth commemorating a bit. After all, we're talking about the first cinematic Transformers entry in our current decade, and it definitely seems like the filmmakers took note of this as it's geared up to be one hell of a ride. With the introduction of characters and beasts in the form of the fierce Maximals, it's looking like we'll be exploring a fresher take on the universe, while also keeping that classic touch in line with what we usually expect of our explosion-filled adventures. But did you know that it's actually a standalone sequel to 2018's Bumblebee and not The Last Knight? Or that it takes more than a bit of inspiration from some of the series' lesser-known underrated spin-offs? Well, there's plenty more where that came from, so let's roll out. For starters, let's take a look at perhaps the most interesting part of the franchise, the alternate modes. Optimus Prime's alternate mode in this film is said to be a 1987 Freightliner FLA semi-truck, which obviously harkens back to the classic generation era, unlike the previous Michael Bay films. Meanwhile, Mirage, who used to transform into a Formula 1 race car in the original 84 animated series, will have his alternate mode be a Porsche 964 sports car. So, close enough? Keep in mind that in 2018's Dark of the Moon, Mirage was portrayed as a Ferrari Italia 458 sports car and had to be specifically renamed to Dino per the company's request, which we imagine the creators wanted to avoid this time around. Can't say we blame them too. As for the movie's plot, remember the whole taking inspiration from spin-offs part in the beginning? Indeed, a majority of the story will be based on Beast Wars, where Maximals and Predacons, descendants of the Autobots and Decepticons respectively, take center stage this time around.
I am currently engaged.
That's an order!
Of course, there's more to the upcoming flick than retouching old ground, as it will also be the big screen debut for some fan favorites, such as Wheeljack. In the original 2007 film, RC and Wheeljack were both supposed to be part of the initial Autobot team. However, Wheeljack was eventually cut to reduce the number of characters in the film and was later adapted into the character queue for 2011's Dark of the Moon. RC, on the other hand, was removed from the first film due to her small size compared to the other Autobots, and, well, the writer's somewhat weird concerns about explaining gender in a robotic alien species. She did eventually make a minor appearance in Revenge of the Fallen, pretty much without any commentary on her gender or size, but fans were still eager to see her in a bigger role. Pun intended. Finally, we have Unicron. After being teased as the main antagonist following Transformers: The Last Knight, Primus' eternal archenemy and brother will finally make his long-awaited live-action debut in the rebooted Bumblebee universe.
Prisoners, this was all business, but now it's personal, do you understand?
We even have some fascinating tidbits from the director himself. When it came down to Easter eggs, Steve Capo Jr. explained that the reason for selecting the Porsche 964 for Mirage was to pay homage to Michael Bay's early film Bad Boys from 1995. In that movie, the lead characters Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett drove a Porsche 964, so the choice was made as a love letter to that. Capo Jr. even revealed that the design for Optimus Prime's face in the movie was inspired by his voice actor Peter Cullen, including what appeared to be wrinkle-like indents and a shape evoking Cullen's mustache. This tribute makes sense when you remember that Cullen has essentially been the voice of Optimus for over 40 years.
Good luck, soldier. I'll buy you some time.
With every thread connecting it to the past, Rise of the Beasts opens up an equal number of new possibilities for the franchise. As we wrap up, it's worth mentioning that it marks an exciting milestone as Michelle Yeoh becomes the first Oscar-winning performer to lend her voice to a Transformers character. Moreover, it seems to only be the beginning, as Capo Jr. is envisioning this as the start of a whole new trilogy. Finally, the film's first trailer generated an impressive 238 million views within the first 24 hours of its release, making it one of the most highly anticipated non-Disney movies of the year. With such an enthusiastic response from fans, it's clear that Transformers: Rise of the Beasts will be a thrilling addition to the franchise and an exciting ride for audiences everywhere. And with that, we close off today's mechanized quest. Are you excited for Rise of the Beasts? Feel free to share your enthusiasm in the comments and tell us, which generation of Transformers did you grow up with? If you consider yourself a fan of 80s action and geek culture, consider dropping a like and a sub for more trivia-filled content. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Rhino rolling out.